Hi souls, I'm Ali.
And I'm Ebs.
And welcome to the Divine Soliloquy podcast.
Journey with us as we share with you a higher level of thought consciousness from our own personal perspectives. Listen guys, the universe operates on a constant level of vibration and is constantly moving, growing and changing. And so are our thoughts, feelings and opinions.
This is a safe space, so there's no judgment here. Everything is love, love, love. So join us as we vibrate in and out of banter and soulful conversations. You can keep up with Ebs and I on Instagram at divine.soliloquy. That's divine.soliloquy.
Wow. How's it going? We hope you all are well. How are you, Ali?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good today.
Yes. It's very, very, very beautiful day. It's been very beautiful in London, so I don't know what's shifting, but I'm here for it.
What part of London?
Well, you know, earlier in the week.
Yeah,
It was all sunny.
we had one day.
We had like two.
We had two.
Don't rain on my parade, okay? I took that little bit of sun that we got and I was excited.
Okay, fine.
So I'm still moving with my son, okay?
Okay.
But yeah, we are talking about something very interesting today. We've had these conversations and we wanted to share it with you guys. And it's a conversation about whether love is transactional. So we're just kind of going to get into the meaning of love, the different types of love, just everything love encompassing, because it's something that I've been thinking about and trying to figure out what it means to me, because I do think it means different things to different people. So yeah.
Yeah, do in the comment section on Instagram, write what love means to you.
Yes. So recently, not recently, but for a number of months now, I have been trying to figure out what love means to me, because I've been hearing a lot of conversations about it being a verb, a doing word. Like love is something that you choose. You wake up every morning and you choose to love someone and you choose to make them happy and all of these things. And it really didn't resonate with me, because I very much felt like love isn't necessarily transactional. And I was trying to figure out why I felt that way, because for me, I love very easily. And I know a lot of people will just be like, but that's just me. Like, I love very easily. It's not hard for me to tell someone that I love them if I've only known them for like a month, maybe even a couple of weeks.
Okay, but what does that look like to you? When you say tell someone that you love them, do you agree that there's depth to it, or
100%?
Okay, fine.
So if we break it down, what I've found is that I operate from my heart chakra.
Okay.
So because I operate from my heart chakra, I have love radiating from me. And I know that's going to sound really pretentious, guys, but stay with me here. I am love. Essentially is what I'm trying to get out, is I am love. So because I am love, it is very easy for me to put love into everything and everyone around me. So that's people, things, organisms. Just as much as when you see me as a person, my area and my space, because I love it, I pour into that. So because I have all of this love and because I operate from my heart chakra, it is just very easy for me to just love people without them having to do anything for me, without them having to give anything to me. And that is probably why I've had such a weird thing with it being a doing word, or if you love me, you wouldn't do this, and if you do this, then I'm going to leave. And we are talking about romantic relationships, but we will get into other relationships later on. But that's why it's always been very difficult for me to comprehend. And then there's this thing about being in love, which is mad. And it's something that I've told Ali multiple times that I don't want to be in ever. So I've never been in love. I know that for a fact, because I have never... Okay, shall we probably define what being in love is and what love is and all those kind of things, because I feel like that would be easier.
Yeah.
Let's just discuss the different definitions of love before we talk on why I don't want to be in love ever.
Stop saying ever. It's like, you never know, girl.
No, don't wish that on me.
Okay, so we have being in love. So this is according just to Google, okay? This is Google. So being in love means desiring the happiness of your partner, admiring them for the individual they are, and feeling motivated to be a better person. When you are in love, your relationship goes beyond a simple physical attraction. That's being in love, okay? Love within itself is an intense feeling of deep affection.
Interesting.
And then what we've done is we had to look at Urban Dictionary, because I was like, what is this? Well, first of all, actually, being in love, what does being in love mean to you? Before I go into all of the...
Yeah, that's definitely not what I see being in love. Because every time I hear somebody say they're like, you know, I'm in love. Or when you see it or when you're around it, it is very intoxicating. It is very void of self-control. It is like this out-of-body experience that you have no control over, and I don't like that. I'm a very controlled person, and I know that sounds very like, oh, you're so boring. But no, because like I feel like a lot of people, when they say they're in love, it is dependent on how that person is making you feel at that point in time. And once that person no longer makes you feel that way, because the definition, it mentions something about the person liking the person for who they are.
Yeah, so admiring them for the individual they are and feeling motivated to be a better person.
But then what happens when the person that they are changes? Are you no longer in love? Exactly, which is very inevitable, especially if you think about...
No, because, sorry to cut you, but that's what they're saying. So it doesn't mean you're no longer in love. It means that you then get down a couple of notches and you go from being in love to in love. Because love is an intense feeling of deep affection.
Mm-hmm.
Being in love is the whole wanting to be better as a person, admiring them. So does that make sense? So essentially, when people say I'm in love, they're saying for all that you are. And when they say I love you, it's just the intensity.
Yeah, I don't think that's what people are practicing.
No. Which brings me on to my good friend Urban Dictionary. Because Evs and I have this conversation and I was like, nah, this is not what the masses...
No, they know what they're doing.
No.
That's not what they're doing. Okay,
so one of the definitions on Urban Dictionary for being in love... Oh, they're wild, Evs. I'm not going to lie to you. They are a little bit wild.
They're hilarious. I love it.
Someone here says, having an unbreakable bond between two people sharing a deep connection, a commitment made to another person in trust, and total surrender of your heart to another person with the security of knowing they will treat you better than you will.
Do you hear that though?
No,
surrender! Did you hear that? No, captivity is what I just heard.
You're a tourist number, Sagittarius. All I heard was shackles. But it's
captivity!
But it's where it says, surrender your heart to another person with security.
No.
Of knowing they will treat you better than you will.
Like, no, they won't. They can't. They can't. They literally cannot. Yeah, so the top definition that's got over 200 likes, it's that absurd yet extravagant feeling you get for someone. It's not necessarily built upon the fact that you knew them for years. Maybe you met recently, you got to know each other and then got struck with that feeling. That feeling that you can't imagine your life without them. You can't spend a day without contacting them.
Well, hold on. Sorry to cut you. The feeling that you can't spend a day without contacting
That's the bit that you were shocked at. The bit I was shocked at is you can't live without them.
I didn't even register that.
Oh my gosh. It gets worse. It gets worse. That no matter how many times they hurt or mistreat you, you still simply cannot get mad at them. You can't regret that you met them, even though they are the reason behind your blues. A feeling that you can't avoid. It will forever chase you, no matter how many times you deny it. Deep inside you know you simply can't and don't want to get over them. And that's when you can be sure that you're ridiculously in love.
Yeah, that's coupled with so many things.
Girl, let's talk about it. Because...
That's coupled with so many things. That's coupled with toxic love. That's coupled with lack of self-love. That's coupled with just mad.
It said the feeling you cannot imagine your life without them in it. Now let me be very clear to you guys, because I know you're probably like, a lot of people probably listen to this and be like, well yeah, like obviously. The reason I have a problem with that, for me personally, is because if I base my life on the security that this other human, and I want to reiterate human, because we are so flawed. If I base my safety and security and trust and love and all of those things in this human for my survival, I'm setting myself up for failure.
Well, yes, because you're setting yourself up to say that without that individual,
I cease to exist.
Yeah, you no longer exist.
Yeah, which is crazy, because that shouldn't be the case. Like, I just genuinely feel like I should be able to love you and not necessarily feel like I need you in my life.
But it's alarming to see there was a part in there about no matter how much the person hurts you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people view being in love, a lot of people view love as unconditional.
Yeah, 100%.
But being in love, especially, a lot of people.
And I don't necessarily. So here's where I think people are getting confused. So I think there is a difference between love, and we've already discussed being in love, and then being in a relationship with someone. So for me, being in a relationship with someone doesn't mean you have to love them, or vice versa. You can be in a relationship with someone you don't love, and it still be a successful relationship. A relationship, in my eyes, is a contract. It's an agreement. We came together for the betterment of each other or for a shared goal, and these are my stipulations in order for this relationship to work. I would like this, this, and this from you, and as long as you can provide those things, then this contract and this agreement will be very successful. But that doesn't mean that I will love you less if you don't hold up to your end of the bargain. It just means that we can't continue in this relationship. I can still love you from afar, because I was saying to you before, like, there are friends I've had, our relationships have broken down for years. Like, the one particular friend I can think of, it was in like nearly 10 years ago. I still think about her, and I still have immense love for her. Like, if someone called me today and said she died, I would cry my eyes out. Even though we don't talk to each other, and even though we ended the relationship on very bad terms, I still love her. But that doesn't mean that I have to put myself in harm's way in order to love you. Because I am love, it's fine.
But that's because you have self-love. So I don't feel like it's healthy for anyone to extend their love in forms of a relationship, I should say, because and we'll touch on it, because Evie and I had this conversation and we were speaking about being love, and we'll really get into that in a second. But in terms of a relationship, like a partnership that's romantic, it's just not healthy, I don't think, to not have self-love and being in a relationship with somebody else, because then you lack boundaries. And you do have some rose-coloured glasses on, and you do ignore them. Red becomes your favourite colour. Because you do anything to stay in that partnership, you sacrifice yourself. If you basically surrender, and I'm sure the word surrender...
Yeah, surrender was in there, yeah.
If you surrender... and you literally give yourself to somebody in that way,
you are no longer
of course you're going to fight to keep that, because you are just a vessel at this point, and that other person
is the one feeding you, is the one giving you the sustenance. It's literally, well, we're going to get into the 8 different types of love apparently, but what I wanted to quickly touch on before we get into that is the need for love, because I think it's very interesting that people, there's this connotation, or there's this thing going around that as humans we need love. So what's interesting is when we talk about human need, or even just animals in general, for those of you who don't know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if anyone studied psychology, this is a very, very prominent model of needs, and it's from a guy who was very popular in the psychology realm, and he made up a triangle. And it's a triangle of needs. And at the bottom of the triangle, it says your physiological needs. So your basic needs as a human in order to survive. And those needs are food, water, warmth, and rest. Right? So that is the foundation. Then on top of that, after that, is your safety needs, which is security and safety, obviously. Those 2 things are your basic needs in order to survive. So technically, we don't really need love in order to survive. However, right above that, is belongingness and love needs, which then intimate relationships and friendships. But funnily enough, there was a lot in the definition that came with like security and safety as it pertains to love. So are we now trying to say that without you can't feel safe if you don't love someone. And we may be conflating that with the need for love.
Oh, well, that's what is being said if you look at these sides.
Yeah.
Do I feel like we need... First of all, is love survival?
No.
Right.
In my opinion, no.
Well, yes, in our opinion.
You don't need to love to survive, no.
No.
To be alive, no.
To be alive and to be happy, do you need love?
Well, that's different. Because
that's what I'm asking.
Oh, okay, yeah. To be enough and be fulfilled, because happiness is dependent on the person. It's very subjective. That was the next thing. So the next part of the hierarchy of needs is esteem needs, which is prestige and the feeling of accomplishment. And then on the top part of the pyramid, which is when you get to a point where all of those bottom needs are being fulfilled, and that is self-actualization, which is achieving one's full potential, including creative activities. And that is a self-fulfillment need. So in my opinion, in order to be alive and be fulfilled, yes, you would probably need love and those other things, esteem, accomplishment, so on and so forth. But that is if you want fulfillment and existence.
Yeah, but who says that love is fulfillment?
Well,
because we can agree that this is all psychologically fulfilled.
So
in terms of
the esteem and the
being
belongingness is psychological. Yeah.
But who says that love is fulfillment? If you've never received love or you don't recognize love, because to some degree you receive love, even if it's from a stranger, you just don't recognize it. You're going to look for your fulfillment in other ways.
Yeah, 100%.
Not necessarily with love.
Yeah.
So then why is it that love necessarily is fulfillment?
Because for a lot of people, that is how they will feel a sense of belongingness, which, according to that psychological need, that is what you need psychologically in order to be fulfilled.
But if you don't recognize something, do you think the idea of it, what love has to offer, what I'm trying to say is, we're having this conversation about love and the ideas of love and what people view love to be. If you don't really have an idea of what love means to you,
yes,
how can love fulfill you when you don't know what love means to you?
Well, other people will tell you what love is. And this is where it segues into the 8 different types of love, according to mostly Greek mythology. So I personally feel like our understanding of love has been created. It's another societal term that we have been conditioned to understand. So that's where you said, well, how do you know? How do you recognize it? A lot of people, let's take the idea of like prostitutes and pimps. A lot of people who go into prostitution from a very young age will attach the pimp taking care of them, safety, security that a pimp provides,
that's true,
as love. Because, like you said, they don't know what that is. But again, a lot of times we confuse safety and security for love.
I was going to say that.
And so it is very easy to understand how a young woman, let's just say, or a young man, can fall into prostitution at the hands of a pimp, because as society, we have been taught that if someone loves you, they will provide you with security and safety. So it's something...
But the other way round, just for my psyche, what I'm hearing is safety and security is love. There's a difference between if someone loves you, they'll do this, versus... Because you look at the safety and you look at the security and then you decide it's love. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Versus when I think of love, I think safety and security.
Well, no, because...
Yes
and no. I just feel like we're told from a very early age that safety and security is love. Because look at even a parental role.
Okay.
When we're children, where do we feel most safe? In the home, with our parents. And then we know that we love our parents, and that's the first encounter we have with love. So it's very easy to put those two together and be like, yeah, of course. They mean the same, they're interchangeable. They mean the same thing. So we're conditioned to believe that love and safety and security is all one thing. Or you can't have one without the other. But that's not true. And that's just my thought process. Because when we talk about, so there's 8 different types of love. The one that stands out to me the most, And these definitions are from, we just Googled them, but majority of them are from Greek terminology, which I found very interesting. We couldn't find anything past Greek Christian ideals of what love is, which is probably a conversation for another day. But it's eros love. And the definition of eros love is a primal love that comes as a natural instinct for most people. It's a passionate love displayed through physical affection. These romantic behaviors include, but are not limited to, kissing, hugging, and holding hands. This love is a desire for another person's physical body. And why I think that's very interesting is I feel like majority of the time, that is what we're practicing, eros love. Because if we don't have that physical manifestation of love, we don't think it's there. We just don't. We just like, well, no. And a lot of physical touch and a lot of physical encounters or connections, should I say, can also be linked back to feeling safe. It's like when you hug someone. You've had a really bad day and you come home and you hug your partner. That feeling of like, oh, okay, this is home. This is safe. Eros love.
I've got this look on my face. This is my thinking look.
Yeah.
You can't see my face.
Addison's ticking.
Yeah, I'm ticking. It's my Virgo moon. I'm ticking.
So that's the one definition. Should we go through all 8? Because they were very interesting, weren't they?
Yeah.
Right, so that was eros love. And then we have philia love. So philia love is affectionate love, apparently, and it's a love without romantic attraction, and it occurs between family and friends when both people share the same values and respect each other, which is really interesting. And it says the love catalyst for this type of love is your mind articulates which friends are on the same wavelength as you and who you can trust, which to me is weird, because then that means that you can't love people who don't share the same values as you.
Yeah, I think that the way that it was worded wasn't necessarily fantastic. It was too specific.
Well, yeah, because it says wavelength.
It was too pedantic, actually.
Yeah, like, what?
And who was the catalyst for that?
Yeah, your mind articulates which friends are on the same wavelength as you.
Oh. And
who you can trust, which is crazy. Then we have pragma love, which is enduring love, which that sounds horrible to me. Yeah, enduring love. Yeah. I'm enduring pain just to love you. That's the first thing that popped up into my head.
That's the connotation that you have with the word enduring.
Yes, it is. It is, right. Yeah. Pragma is a unique bonded love that matures over many years. It's an everlasting love between a couple that chooses to put equal effort into their relationship. Commitment and dedication are required to reach pragma. Instead of falling in love, you are standing in love with the partner you want by your side indefinitely. I liked that one. That's pragma love. Yeah. And
I like that it's the maturing part.
Yeah, I liked that.
So you can't identify pragma love without time.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I like that one. That says the love catalyst for that is the subconscious drives partners towards each other, and this feeling comes unknowingly and feels purposeful, which is something we're going to discuss in a bit. And then storge, is that the word?
Yeah, storge familiar love.
Storge familiar love is a naturally occurring love rooted in parents and children as well as best friends. That's interesting. They jump from parents and children to best friends.
Yeah, but read the why, baby. Okay. Read the why.
It's an infinite love built upon acceptance and deep emotional connection. This love comes easily and immediately in parent and child relationship. Immediately. We'll come back to that. The love catalyst for this one is your memories encouraging long-lasting bonds with another individual. As you create more memories, the value of your relationship increases. Right.
So again, that's another love with time. However, that's interesting, the catalyst definition versus the definition itself, because it suggests you need time, but it said it's immediate.
Yeah. That was confusing. That was very...
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I understand what it is.
Yeah, and I think this is a definite tricky thing to bring up, but parental relationships aren't necessarily immediate with child.
No.
And I know that's something that people don't ever want to talk about, but there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't necessarily come naturally.
And that should be normalised, because that's for a lot of parents.
A lot of parents. They take time to actually build up to that love for their child. The next one is ludus love, which is a playful love. It's childlike and flirtatious, commonly found in the beginning stages of the relationship, aka honeymoon stage. This type of love consists of teasing, playful motives, and laughter. Although common in young couples, older couples who strive for this love find a more rewarding relationship. And the love catalyst for this is emotional. Your emotions allow you to feel giddy, excited, interested, and involved with another person. Alright, well that one's pretty self-explanatory. Then there's mania love, obsessive love, which I feel like most people are practicing.
That's basically, in a term that we understand, toxic love. Okay?
Mania is the obsessive love towards a partner. It leads to unwanted jealousy or possessiveness, known as codependency. Most cases of obsessive love are found in couples with an imbalance of love towards each other. An imbalance of eros and ludus is the main cause of mania. With healthy levels of playful and romantic love, the harm of obsessive love can be avoided. Isn't that interesting though? Because eros love is the physical, and the ludus is the playful. Nowhere in there was anything like, there was that one, the pragma and the storge.
Pragma was subconscious, I think.
The pragma one was over time, the one that you liked.
Yeah.
None of that was in there in order to manage the mania, which is I found interesting. The love catalyst of this is survival instinct. Drives a person to desperately need their partner in order to find a self of.
Because it's codependency, isn't it?
In order to find a sense of self-value.
Yeah, but then that's
Mad.
what it is. That's what happens when you're in a
Mad.
codependent relationship.
Mad.
Or where you seek codependent love.
Yeah.
And that's usually the lack of self-love.
Yeah. And then the next one, I cannot pronounce this, Filutia, which is self-love. It's a healthy form of love where you recognize your self-worth and don't ignore your personal needs. Self-love begins with acknowledging your responsibility for your well-being. It's challenging to exemplify the outbound types of love because you can't offer what you don't have. That love catalyst is soul. Your soul allows you to reflect on your necessary needs and physical, emotional, and mental health. That was beautiful. I like that one.
Yeah,
I wish I could say it.
Self-love is beautiful.
And then the last one, our favourite, agape love, which is selfless love. Agape is the highest level of love to offer. It's given without any expectations of receiving anything in return. Offering agape is a decision to spread love in any circumstances, including destructive situations. Agape is not a physical act, it's a feeling. But acts of self-love can elicit agape, since self-monitoring leads to results. And the love catalyst for that is spirit. Your spirit creates purpose bigger than yourself. It motivates you to pass kindness on to others.
And what type of love do you feel like you practice?
Oh, 100% agape. Clearly. No, yeah. Agape definitely encompassed everything I was kind of trying to... What was that beautiful word you used in the first podcast? Concatenate.
Concatenate. You like that word, don't you?
I love that word. In the first bit, if you just are love and you have the self-love, you give it without condition. And I think all the other loves in this list are just conditions. They're just a bunch of stipulations of how I'm going to love you and how you're going to love me and what I'm going to get in return for that. Very ego-driven, ego-fed. And I just don't feel like that's what love is. I just feel like that's relationships. That's, like I keep saying, an agreement, a contract, which is fine. I like contracts. I think they're very beneficial.
But there's a difference between love and relationships and self-love and so whenever you attach love to something else is when I feel the conditions come in. But if you just practice agape love and you are love within yourself and you just exude love everywhere you go, and I think we said this earlier as well, love is everywhere. It's everywhere. Once you are love is everywhere you go.
Yeah.
All the contractual stuff and all of the stuff, the hullabaloo around it is simply just when you try to associate with other things or other people.
100%. And I think it's very important to note that it's okay to operate from your heart chakra. If you're someone where you do find yourself just gravitating and making connections very easily, you probably do operate from your heart chakra. And there is nothing wrong with that. You're probably also someone who has a very high level of self-love and self-awareness.
Because to operate from your heart chakra has to be open.
It has to be fully open.
So, I can't remember which love term it was, but the one about codependency, mania love.
Mania love, yeah.
Mania love, your heart chakra is likely closed.
Yes, 100%.
I think that's important to say.
100%.
But then you also look back at it, unless your heart chakra opens at all, I personally don't think you've ever truly loved. Nor do I think you could ever love. I think you can have infatuation, you could probably exhibit some of those other loves that were on the list. But can you truly love with a blocked heart? No.
No. Well, how do you unblock the heart then?
Well, unblock your heart chakra.
Yeah.
It always starts with, so not even self-love, it starts with all the self-work. You have to acknowledge that there is a heart chakra.
Yeah,
you have
why
to
is it
acknowledge
blocked?
the whys,
yeah. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But the other conversation I want to...
Sorry to cut you, because another thing is, you can be blocked and have an open heart chakra, because there was a time in my life where other parts of my chakras were blocked, but my heart chakra was still open. So I've always been love, as in since I was a little girl, a child. I think I was born love. Yeah. Essentially, I thought that would be important to point out, because when we speak about self growth and so on and so forth, there's this notion that everything's blocked and then one day you blossom. It doesn't look like that.
By the way, guys, for those who are wondering what chakras are, maybe we should explain that, because some people might not know.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Maybe we should say something.
Sorry, guys. So chakras are, they're basically 7 points of energy in your body, and they are the third eye.
Look at you. You didn't know. This is a moment.
Third eye.
No, don't even Google it. This girl.
Okay, let me try not to Google it. Let me see. Oh, tests. I love tests.
She done it with chest. She started off here. She even pointed to her forehead. She was doing like head, shoulders, knees and toes. I forgot.
No, because, okay. You said head, shoulders, knees and toes.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can remember it, guys. I love tests, by the way. I'm a nerd. Right.
Let me hold the screen, because
I didn't even test it. I didn't even put it in.
Hold on.
Don't type it in. Oh my god, this is pressure. I work well under pressure though, so it's fine. Such a nerd.
Okay, conceded.
I'm such a nerd.
That was an Alison moment. Okay, yeah, ready, go.
Right, so the third eye, also known as the pineal gland, I believe.
You're doing a lot. I didn't click on that photo.
I'm sorry. The throat chakra, the heart chakra. There's a solar plexus chakra.
Go girl.
There's a sacral chakra. How much is that? 5?
Yeah.
There's 7, isn't there? There's the sex one. What's that one?
I'm not telling you.
Oh, but I know there's a sex one, so it could kind of give me a half point for the sex one.
Okay.
And then hearts. There's a gut one. That might be the solar plexus though. And I know my sacral. Because that's blocked apparently. I can't think of the last one, but I feel like I got 6 and a half.
You've done 5.
5 and a half.
5. So
give me the sex one, man.
From the top, there's the crown chakra.
Oh, I missed the crown one.
The crown chakra is spirituality.
I thought it was the third eye. Oh no, that's like psychic ability
third eye
things.
Is awareness.
Yeah.
The throat chakra is communication. Heart chakra is love and healing. Solar plexus chakra is wisdom and power. Sacral chakra is sexuality and creativity.
Oh, I already got that one.
And the root chakra is basic trust.
Is that the solar plexus?
No, the solar plexus chakra is wisdom and power.
Oh.
The sacral chakra is sexuality and creativity. And the root chakra is basic trust.
The root chakra, that's the one that's blocked for me, not the sacral. What's wrong with me?
Look at you. My sexuality's fine.
Yeah, that's very fine.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Tell your friends.
Girl! Okay, so what was the point of us doing that? Again, let's get back on track.
No, because we were explaining what chakras are.
Oh, yes, sorry,
that's important.
Wait, yes, sorry. Let me actually read it from the thing. So, yeah, in order for you to be fully aligned, all your chakras, in order for you to be fully developed or in ascended or whole or whatever you want to call it, your chakras have to be aligned. So they all basically have to be open healthily. They can't be too open and they can't be too closed. And so, yeah, that's basically what they are. But it's from spirituality. So if you're a spiritual person and you want to look into those, I highly recommend them. But yeah, you're saying if your heart chakra is closed, then you're not going to love easily, are you? Well, you're gonna love, but you're gonna love from a place of.
Well, you're gonna love
ego.
in your idea of love, but I think that very few explore what love is to them, what love means to them, and what is love. If we're constantly told what love is, we never really feel the need to explore it, because we live in a sheepish society at the end of the day.
Right.
So we don't really explore things that we feel like logically make sense to us, or things that people in our lives don't question and exhibit.
Conditioning, and which was great because I wanted to talk about the love languages. I recently had a conversation about whether the love languages are manipulative and ego driven. And actually, funny enough, when I had the conversation, I was saying no, because you have to be able to understand how others love and how they want to receive love. For those of you who don't know what the love language is, they're just languages of love that you exhibit when you want to give or you want to receive love. So there is the words of affirmation love language, whereas you want to be told affirming things about you from your partner. So, you know, I love you, you're beautiful, you're funny, you're smart. There's things like receiving gifts. Doesn't necessarily mean monetary gifts. It can be all types of gifts. That's how you receive love or give love. But a lot of people are saying that it's quite it's not authentic, because it basically means if you don't give me those love languages, then I don't love you. And at the time I was like, well, no, you know, it's good for relationships. But I feel like what I was trying to say is you can still love someone and not give them their love languages. But you just won't be in a relationship. Again, it comes back to the relationship. If you want to be in a successful relationship with someone and you feel like these love languages are what you need in order for the relationship to be successful, that's fine in my eyes. But that also does not mean that you don't love the person. So essentially, I feel like love languages shouldn't be called that. They should be called fulfillment languages.
That makes more sense. Because it's literally just to fulfill your partner.
Yeah.
Versus this love stuff.
No, but it's true. It's very, very true. So, I mean, I also spoke about the fact that I do think, I feel like there is an agenda of love, basically. There is this agenda that we need to, the eros love and transactional love essentially is being pushed because our society works on a very commercialized, capitalist, industrialized society that benefits from you loving in that toxic way. And what I mean by that is, if you constantly are requiring people to do very surface level things for you in order for you to feel loved, you are going to participate in a lot of capitalist things, like, you know, romantic love, buy me this and I will love you. Make sure my safety is there, buy me a house. Do you know what I mean? And those things drive back to you spending money or having resources, which drives back to what marriage was in the beginning. If we look at the history of marriage, it was a contractual agreement between families in order for them to build more wealth. If you join two wealthy families, you're now one even more wealthy family.
I was going to say that a lot of people didn't, and still don't, to a degree, marry for love.
No.
It's just that it was a lot more, it was vocalized then.
And I feel, funnily enough, like marriages that were not built on love are more successful.
Yes. However, we could argue that's because a lot of people don't actually, truly for themselves define love. If you knew and understood love, and what love is, and had a definition for yourself, bar all of the external and what you've been taught and told, or conditioned to believe rather, you could have a successful, loving marriage and relationship.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? So it's like what you said, I agree, but that's because those individuals don't actually quite, or allegedly. I just want to be Wendy Williams for a day. Say that one word. But do you know what I mean? They might not really know or understand what love is.
Well, I mean, I don't even think it matters if you don't know or understand what love is. You understand an agreement, because those things where I'm agreeing or I'm going into this marriage knowing that I need to provide you with this, and this in order for this to be successful for the betterment of our families.
I agree with that. I'm saying what you said about you feel like those relationships are more successful than love relationships. I'm saying it would be successful in a love relationship if two parties understood and knew for themselves what love is.
But why would that make a difference?
Because why would it be unsuccessful? Why is it unsuccessful?
If it's based on love.
Yeah, why?
Because the love that we're exhibiting and the love that we are actually operating from is ego driven and ego feeding. So you would consistently have to meet those partners' needs, knowing full well that your partner can change.
Based on those definitions, but two individuals that understand what
or
love
just
is.
Our love.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you are love and if you understand what love is, then of course it will be a successful relationship.
Yes. No, for sure.
What we need to discuss, is this notion that if you truly love someone, they come first. Because I genuinely think that the hierarchy of love should be me first.
Yeah, 100%.
And then XYZ.
Yeah.
It will be, and then again, and we've had this conversation before, it will be me, and I haven't got any children, but when I do, it will be me, and then my child, and then my partner.
That's a conversation for another day.
But, yeah, we're not going to get into
that one.
But do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's this constant putting the person first. No.
Yeah, because that's how you get disappointed at the end of the day, because you're never just saying, hey, what about me? Like, and then you're expecting that person.
So that's the key.
That
it's
person
the expectation that they're also going to put you first. But if you're going to both put energy into putting each other first in order to feel like number one, if you make yourself number one, then everyone can be really happy number two.
And that's when it goes back to transactional, because when you did the hand movement, I know you guys can't see, but she's doing the side by side or crossing hand movement, and that to me is transactional.
Yeah, that's
true. But when you talk about self, that comes higher up, and when you talk about love, that is higher up, because that's who you are love, and it just trickles down.
Yeah.
Because that's just who you are. So it doesn't have to be transactional, it just exudes out of you anyway. So you don't even have to think about the love too tough. You're just like, well, of course I love you. Like, stupid question. So it's really interesting. But why do people feel like the loyalty aspect of love is important? And again, I just feel like it comes back to the contractual agreement that you have with someone. Right, I watched a video about the history of marriage. Funnily enough, monogamy, and I know this is, a lot of people say it's got something to do with love. I don't think monogamy has anything to do with love. But according to the history of marriage, monogamy became more mainstream once people stopped marrying for economic purposes and started marrying for love. Because you're able to be polygamous if you have the resources to be polygamous. So that's... so isn't that fucking interesting? So basically what they're saying is monogamy is for poor man them and polygamy is for the rich.
But I mean, we have to talk about monogamy in a completely...
definitely.
We have some views on monogamy.
Yes, yeah, no, for sure. But that was very interesting to me. So I was like, so you essentially, spiritually, you can love multiple people. Marriage-wise, you can be married to multiple people.
If you can afford them.
If you can afford them. But as soon as... But do you understand the abundance that comes with those two things?
Yeah.
The abundance of love can be given out. The abundance of money can be given out. But when you don't have either, then it becomes monogamous. So, you lack abundance? Oh, this is going to be triggering.
This is a historical term, though.
I'm not trying to trigger any of you.
I'm
here for monogamy, guys. But I'm speaking as I'm thinking, essentially. And
that's a soliloquy, babe.
That's a soliloquy, darling.
It's a safe space.
It's a safe space. Don't kill me, please. But essentially what I'm hearing is from the history of marriage is that if you lack abundance, then you will be monogamous.
Because it's like, you can't afford nothing. You can't afford shit. You might as well just stay, you and your other poor partner, and just be happy together at a bus shed. Essentially. But this is what I'm hearing. And then you're saying,
bus shed.
if you have all this money, but that's another thing as well. That's why we're polygamy. Because it's like, if you can afford it, you whatever, it goes back to people's ideas of love, because providing and safety and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But this is a question for you. Do you feel like you can be in love with more than one person? Because I ask people, can you love more than one person at a
Well, I
time?
never want to be in love anyway. We're going back to the beginning here. I'm not trying to be in love with
feel-
anyone more than one person. I'm not trying to be in love with
Everyone
one
hides your
person.
son. Everyone hides your son. This girl doesn't even want to try.
I don't.
Not
I
even
actually don't.
aspiring to.
I'm
No,
not
but for real.
aspiring to be in love with anybody. But yes, I think people can be in love with more than one person for sure.
But if we go by the definition,
Being obsessed.
of Urban Dictionary, they said you surrender.
Oh yeah, I hear that.
Surrender. When you do the double R, that is, when they say surrender, they said give your whole. They said take out your soul and put
just
it in
give
your
it
husband's
there.
lap.
Facts.
And that is when he knows
Literally.
he loves you.
Yeah. Well, then in that case, no. In those terms, I don't. Well, I mean, I can't say what other people can and can't do. I don't know what their capacity is for the in love, because I have no capacity for in love, but a lot of people have capacity for in love, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they could do, but in my eyes, logically, by the definition of it, that sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot to be in love with more than one person. Sounds debilitating.
God, it sounds taxing.
Debilitating is the word I hear when you think about being in love with more than one person. That's mad.
And it's so many already, because it's myself.
Mm.
And then it's you.
And then
I'm
you
already
and
in love. That's
person.
what it is. We're already in love with more than one person.
Yeah.
Because we already love ourselves.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then there's you and your shit.
Yeah.
And then someone else and their shit.
And then no matter what you do to me, I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be loving. No, that's a lot.
But that's what we were saying earlier. I will still always love you. I just won't be present to experience you.
That.
Click. That's what the people don't say.
Clicks.
But
100%.
yeah.
Because when we said in love, and because you was like to me, but why don't you like the feeling of love? I said because it's in. The in is my problem. That means I'm in this space that you control. I'm in there in the cesspit, just swirling around, and I have no control of it.
That's the word control, because
You surrender.
Right, so in love, we're in love with each other right now, just for this example. You surrender and put all of your stuff into the hat. I surrender and put all of my stuff into the hat. We're both out of control, and then we say, do you know why? Because I love you. And all of the stuff is in this hat.
Yeah.
So none of us actually have power in this moment, except for what is, and that is based on the other person putting in as much as you put in.
Yeah.
Because
So I
if
was
you
just
put
gonna
your love
say.
into this space, and I put enough but keep some for myself,
I still have enough. I still have enough to
Yeah.
manage me,
Yeah.
but then I can control you because the majority is of you. The majority of you is in that hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's ever gonna. That's why the surrender.
And it did
knocks
say
me
imbalance
out.
in there, by the way.
Exactly,
Yeah,
but
it
it'll
did say
always be a
imbalance.
balance. And
Yeah.
when you're somebody that is love, navigating and existing in a world with this connotation of love, personally, I feel like there is an imbalance.
Yes.
There will always be an imbalance.
And you know also why there's an imbalance when it comes to being in love is because love, when you are in love, it triggers the dopamine in your brain. The same dopamine that is triggered by things like weed, things like cocaine, drugs, alcohol.
Addiction.
An addiction forms in your... It's a chemical reaction when you say I'm obsessed with someone that causes you to constantly keep going back for more pain, love, trigger points. Because like pain and pleasure, very also similar, also just degrees of extremity, same thing. And the dopamine causes you to keep coming back. So that chemical reaction that also drives you to have food addictions and alcohol addictions and drives the society that is sustained upon keeping you at a level where you are just a slave to all of these things that you're addicted to. Sorry I had to go deep there, guys, but essentially that's what it is.
So it's like we need to all
we need to all love
Get
ourselves.
rid of dopamine.
Yeah. No, dopamine used in a very healthy way is fantastic.
I know.
It's so fantastic, but it needs to be done in a healthy way, in a healthy environment. Just like obviously food used in a healthy way, but once you get addicted to it, obviously not. Weed can be used in healthy ways. Once you get addicted,
well, you can be. I love this term when people say you can be healthily obsessed. When I love an oxymoron, me.
Yeah. How? Healthily obsessed.
Yeah, haven't you heard that term? I love it. It's a great oxymoron. So when people say you can be healthily obsessed with XYZ, some people feel like you can be healthily obsessed with your lover because they view that as love. Have you not? We spoke about codependency earlier, but some people evoke emotion because they feel like, okay, forget the love languages. They're like, well, I recognize love to be obsession. I recognize love to be jealousy.
I see.
So people will do things where it doesn't really push you too far, but it's not necessary, especially as we are beings that are self-proclaimed love.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? So it's like, personally, so let me just take it back to myself. If I had someone in my life that was like, I want to evoke this emotion of jealousy out of you and whatever. For me and the way that I love, you don't need to do all of that.
Yeah.
I love you regardless.
Yeah.
But it's that, what did we say about the love languages?
Fulfillment?
The fulfillment. And some people are fulfilled by that toxicity.
And it's because when you were talking, I just heard like the doing. So like evoking jealousy out of someone means you want to see them react in a way that makes you, that it confirms for you that the person is in love with you or loves you. And it's all about the doing. It's all about somebody doing. Like, I can't think of any other word, because that's where the problem lies. I just don't feel like if you love someone or if you have love, it needs to be so concrete. It needs to be so tangible. Like, if you don't show me that, if you don't show me that you're jealous, you must not love me.
People, we live in a world where people like to feel special.
Yes.
And I can say for myself personally, I realised that I am loved when I was a child, when I found it quite difficult to get angry and hate. But when it was reaffirmed, I would say, as you get older and you're in, you know, your relationships or whatever, when you have people question the type of love that you have for them, or not feel special. So for example, it's like, I thought this was special because they know my love is intense, but then you see me around like yourself, for example,
yeah, I've had this problem.
and then it's kind of like, well, I don't understand how you love me because I see how you also treat
other people.
And it's like, well, I'm love.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I get it, because and that's where the
obsessiveness is coming
and that's
in.
why people try to evoke these emotions, because it's like, I need you to prove to me, this is what they're saying subconsciously, show me that you love me differently than you love Ebony, because you also gift her, you also uplift her, I need something that rhymes, because I was on a roll. You were going,
her.
But do you know what I mean? So that is where, especially when it comes to romance, your partner is looking at you and they're
so
saying,
what do I get in, what's different for me?
Yeah.
But there is difference. When you're in a romantic relationship, you get sex.
Yeah,
I'm not sleeping with my friends.
But that they want more than that. They want, like,
that's just selfish. I'm love. Let me be abundance, for God's sake.
let me just be great.
Let me just be. No, but I've had that same problem. I've had a partner say to me, but why do you call everyone babe? I thought you only called me babe.
And it's like, you see their world crumble.
Yeah, like, and I'm like, but because that's just my loving word for everybody. Because I genuinely, even if I'll call the shop man like babe, in all honesty, because I see him all the time.
Like I don't want it. I'm joking.
Yeah, but that's why he was just kind of like, I don't want it, because you say it to everyone, so it means nothing now. I'm like, no, but it does. It's just, I just love.
But with you, you're like babe with like a vag tingle, and they're like, but it's true.
It's true. So I had to stop saying
like,
it.
Babe.
I stopped saying it because he didn't like it.
See, I say darling a lot, but I do that as well when I don't know someone's name.
Okay.
And when you are love, you generally do want to have these kind of endearing little terms. It's just subconscious. So it might be
for sure.
hun, sweetie, chicken nugget, whatever it is that you say, there's always like a little nickname in there.
So love and loyalty. So I've been also thinking about that because there was a rapper, I think it was 21 Savage who said it, maybe in one of his raps anyway. I love 21 Savage. And I think he said, fuck love, give me loyalty. And when I heard that bar, I was like, huh, interesting. But now I'm thinking, I get it. I do get it. Because like, what people exhibit as love is the being in love, the obsessive love that we've constantly talked about. And that doesn't serve anyone. But loyalty does. And loyalty says, I will, again, like it just, for me, just always goes back to an agreement. I promise to treat you with respect, honour you, you know, to the best of my ability, all those types of things, make sure that you are safe and protected, or whatever the case may be, whatever the agreement is. You can stipulate all of those things through loyalty. Whatever loyalty means to you, you can say, this is what it is, and this is what I need from you. Love, however, with that being a feeling and an emotion that everyone just kind of takes as something that is out of body and that they can't control, is not conducive to a successful anything. So why would I want that? Do you know what I mean? A practical mind, unfortunately me, would be like, this serves me no purpose because you're unstable when you're in love. So,
but you know, that is the most Taurus thing you've ever said to me. And like right now, my little chart is screaming because I'm actually a hopeless romantic.
No, so, I know this sounds mad, but so am I. I know it sounds really mad.
Right now, everyone's just like, I'm out.
Alright, I'm done.
I'm a hopeless romantic. But you know, we sound mad for real, you know. We're just like, put yourself first. What is this? Love everyone the same. Love.
But I can also love romance. And romance is ego-driven. And I can also accept that, yes, I would like to be wined and dined sometimes. I would like the physical touch. I like those things. And it's okay to love those things. That's fine. But don't just rely on those things, because when they dry out, you're going to turn around and say, well, you don't love me anymore.
Yeah, but, and that's the thing, is because it's like, they won't dry out forever.
No.
But everyone has like
Essentially, what society is teaching us is that loving yourself, because everything we talk about always comes back to self-love. Essentially, what society basically is teaching us, that self-love is not marketable enough. It doesn't make money. You can't capitalize off of it. Therefore, it's not an agenda that's pushed. Okay, so the last couple of questions I want to ask is, one, what does love mean to you?
Okay, so love to me is, well, you know, I'm a very spiritual person, so it's definitely the connection of the two souls. I need to connect with you spiritually, mentally, sexually, but it's something that I can pour out to anybody. Love for me isn't conditional.
Okay. It is not conditional.
It's not conditional, because I can, my boundaries and whether I hold space in your life is what's conditional, but whether I'm able to love you or not isn't.
Okay.
Love to me is actually very simple.
Okay.
It's the connotations and everything else that's coupled with love that make it complex, in my opinion. But love to me is very simple. Love to me is actually pure.
Yes.
But they're my main things, I would say, with love, because if I couple it, my mind, when you ask me that question, I'm thinking of romance and platonic relationships.
Yeah,
I do believe that love is just, I don't believe love is the root. No, I believe love is the root, sorry, that was incorrect. I believe love is the root, and love is what drives.
And what would you say successful relationships / partnership looks like to you?
Them ones. That success, that dreamy success,
or fulfilling, should I say, because success is definitely subjective, and the fulfilling is subjective too, but successful, fulfilling, I would say that you have to take I'm going to call them fulfillment languages from now on. I'm going to take your terminology. I think they have to be taken into account. It is contractual to a degree. We've discussed that before on the podcast. I think that for a successful relationship, you do need all the things that we've discussed. You do need the loyalty, and you do need the trust, and you do need the... I don't think you need the love. I don't think you need the love to have a successful relationship. And you touched on it earlier in the podcast, so I am agreeing with you. But I do think you need commonality. I think that you need that in order to have any successful partnership, because you need that in any type of partnership that you have in life, regardless. 100%. Yeah, I mean, love to me is not something that I do, it's something that I am. And I said that in the beginning. Love is just a being of such, and it is not conducive to who you are, what you look like. It's literally, I just give as much as I have, and and I feel an abundance of love, so I'm able to give it without, like you said, without conditions. I feel like my type of love is very unconditional. However, when we move into what is a successful partnership for me, is when you have a foundation and you have an agreement that is based on this foundation. And the driving force of those two things is your essence of love.
See, you just beautifully articulated what I said. So why did you waste my time? No, because she always wastes my time. We tend to think very similarly. I've got a Virgo moon. I think about things and I'll say what it is that I have to say. But when I'm on a roll, I don't shut up. I think we should point that out. But the point is, yeah, she just wastes our time.
No.
That was good. I know, I agree. I do agree.
You know what I mean? Because, like, for me, like I explained to you before, say you have a lot of people, their common foundation is their religion. So, like Christianity. Your foundation is that you both are rooted in your spiritual connection with your God, with Jesus Christ, or whatever the case may be. And so you build your contractual agreement based on the Bible or God or the teachings or whatever it may be. And then through that is the love. That's where it kind of manifests, and it encompasses everything into the all-encompassing feeling and energy of love, really. So that's basically what I'm saying. So if you find someone and you guys both have, like you said, a commonality, and you both have a driving force for your life, a purposeful driving force for your life, such as a religion or a cause, find that foundation first. This is just my little advice. You don't have to take it because I'm not God, but this is just my advice I would give to anyone looking for a good relationship. Find that commonality, find that foundation, and build your expectations on that foundation for a successful partnership. And I feel like the love and the adoration and the attraction can already be there or will come, essentially.
But you could also argue that, because when you say, just explain a little bit more when you say find that foundation, because people do want love. Do you understand what I mean? So it's like, there's a difference between saying, okay, I know that this is what I want, and then you look at someone and you say, oh, I noticed that you have similar wants, and then we're going to go from there, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, because there was the reason why a lot of, and I can speak on this from my personal experience, the reason why a lot of relationships that have differing values and faiths don't work is because if you have your faith or your foundation, how are you going to have an agreement based on that foundation if the foundation's different? Do you know what I mean? So if I'm a Christian and you're a Muslim, and we're trying to make a contract, you're going to say, well, I need you to do this and this according to the Quran. And I'm going to say, well, I need you to do this and this according to the Bible. It's not going to work. And
then the problem that you have is that people that choose love first ignore that the foundation isn't
Exactly. And it will feel nice for a while. Trust me, it will. Because that nice, cozy Eros love.
I was going to say, we've got to go back to it.
Yeah, it's going to be like, oh,
it turns into mania.
And ludus, and then mania. But then you'll realise, there's no foundation. It's just too shaky. It's too unstable. Sorry. The foundation is shot. But thank you guys. And all, as always, let us know what your thoughts are about, what do you think love is, and if you think love is transactional. Oh, that's the end question. Do you think love is transactional?
Let us know in the comments.
I think it is. The love that people are practicing right now is very transactional. That's just my 2 pence. But yeah.
I think it's definitely always been transactional because of what you said, especially about marriages. It's always been transactional, and I think that we've moved in because it's always been transactional to my understanding, because we're moving in to navigating relationships with love. I think that's why there's so many blurred lines, because it was very easy for people to pick up onto, okay, this is what love is, and I prefer that than this.
Yes.
But then we have to now move on as a society and say, actually, if we look at love in a completely different way, maybe we can have healthier relationships, because we have progressed.
Yes, we have, yeah.
But now I think it's time for us to progress a bit further.
I agree. Thank you guys. As always, everything starts with self. And I think all our podcasts are probably going to end with that, if I'm honest, because the soliloquy always comes back to self-love.
So on that note, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, like and comment at divine.soliloquy. That's divine.soliloquy.
Why?